Hi folks, welcome to the next installment. Today is going to be a bit of a quick one before we move on to bone breaks. I've got a cool little thing you can do, maybe in the driveway or some cardboard, but it circles around or it involves the New Zealand Healthy Eating Guide, which we've got over here, a little bit of it on my right, and it's just to make us think about what we've been eating all week, what an athlete should eat, and what proportion should we be eating in our diet. So the New Zealand Healthy Eating Guide says that we need to eat mostly fruits and vegetables, something that looking around the school, I see that are in very, very low proportions, right? We're not eating, obviously, nearly enough of that. We need to eat some grain foods and starchy vegetables, so that's like your breads, your rices, your pastas. But of course, if you remember from previous lessons, we need to be eating the ones that are brown rice, brown bread, the ones that are complex carbohydrates and not simple sugars. Something like Wheat Bix for breakfast, and that would sustain us with sugar for a much, much, much longer time compared to eating something like Cocoa Puffs, which would give us a sugar rush, and then by the time you get to the first period, you'll crash. Um, Legumes, fish, and seafood, eggs, poultry, and meat, it's in a lower proportion, so the size of these indicate how much. Are in a lower proportion. We need protein, of course, because we're made of protein, so we need it to be able to produce enzymes to grow and that kind of thing. So milk, cheese, yogurt and dairy products down here, and then healthy oils, nuts, and seeds. That's healthy oils, so those are unsaturated fats, not the type that you would get in like regular butter or animal fats. Alrighty, so a little bit of an easy close activity here for you. What is meant by healthy eating? All food contains nutrients. If it doesn't have a biomol in it, it's going to pass through you. It is the nutrients in our food which help to keep us healthy. Different foods contain different different nutrients or different ratios. So if you had something like, say, a potato chip, it's going to have a ton of carbohydrates, simple sugars, simple carbs, and it's going to have fats in it, oils, because it's probably going to be deep fried. Is there any protein in it? No. So different things you eat are going to have different ratio of the three different biological molecules. Read the paragraph below and use the words in the box to fill in the blank spaces. So the words that you can choose from are build, nutrients, healthy, energy appears twice, repair, food, proper working, variety of foods, warm, water, and balance of nutrients. Alright, nice and easy, just to get you thinking before I move to the next part. So I suggest you pause the video, just quickly get that done, and we'll pop into where we need to go. Alright, now that you've got that done, let's have a think or a look at what we eat at our school. So some students bring a lunch, some people purchase from the tuck shop. So our school has the Heart Foundation tick for the things that are on offer, and there is, of course, a range of things that I see you guys buying. A few students actually get the combos. You usually just go for like moosies and the odd chicken burger and stuff, but it's very rare that I see people with water or apples or getting fruit from the tuck shop. Mind you, some of you try and bring water to class, which you got to put in your bag. But anyways, everything's $6. We've got different choices. So you've got a crispy chicken roll, which has milk, an apple, and a yogurt. You could have something like, say, Italian pasta. So over here, you've got a brown bread roll, which is going to be a complex carbohydrate, compared to the pasta, which is likely to have simple carbs. Milk as opposed to water. In this one, we get a cheeseburger combo. Again, they'll try and select bread, which is a complex carbohydrate. We've got veggie pocket, different types of sandwiches, sushi sandwich. I don't think I've ever seen that one. We've got wraps, butter chicken wraps, all sorts of different things to pick from. But what's interesting is when you think about your diet and having a balanced diet and energy, a lot of you will get things like, say, 2 chicken burgers and a moosie, or 2 chicken burgers and calcium or something like that. There's very, very, very rarely ever any fruit. And of course, there's limited vegetables there. So when you consider that against the proportion that you should be eating to stay awake in class, to energize yourself, you're eating more carbs, more carbohydrates. However, you are adolescents, you are growing, so yeah, I sort of understand that. So we think about what we can buy from school. Ooh, Greenway is neat. You know what you can buy from school and what your parents would pack for you, or God forbid, the students who, on their way in, spend their lunch money, get 2 Vs, which are not allowed at school, get 2 energy drinks, smash them by interval, and have nothing to eat. That's proper food. Those are full of sugar. They're very, very bad for you when you're a teenager and adolescent. And by 4th period, Students obviously can't focus, they're hungry, their tummy's grumbling. It's not a good decision based for your learning, and it's not a healthy decision for your body either. You need to be eating proper meals, proper snack, and breakfast, of course, which I'll talk about in a minute, which is going to bring me down here. Think about what you've been eating for the past week. Now, you might not be able to track this or think about it. It says track it. We were going to do that in class, but just think about a couple of days, right? Think about what you had for breakfast, what you had for lunch, dinner, and snacks. Now, I often poll my kids in class and ask them, have you eaten breakfast? And what's really interesting is upwards of 20-25% of you haven't eaten breakfast. And whether it's you're in a rush in the morning, or there is the odd person who just eating in the morning makes them feel ill, but a lot of it actually is just being lazy or you're not prepared. For me personally, if I don't eat breakfast, then when I get to period one, yeah, my teaching suffers for sure. My energy levels go way down. When you spend the night sleeping, your immune system comes out. It heals your cuts and stuff faster. You regenerate. Sugar in your blood is used up by your body processes. You wake up in the morning and basically your fuel tank is empty. You need to refill it. And until such a time as you refill it, you're going to be operating non-optimally. So if a student doesn't have breakfast and then doesn't have anything till interval. So say they go to bed at 9 o'clock, they wait till interval, which is 11 a.m. So 9, that's 12, that's 14 hours without food. Not a good thing. You can't eat in class, so definitely not a good thing. So period 1, period 2 may be a write-off. And again, the worst thing you could do, of course, would be get an energy drink. That's just, there's no nutritional value in that whatsoever. It's just caffeine and sugar, glucouracetone and other stuff. Horrible, horrible, horrible for you. And what you find is throughout the day, when you're eating like that or eating a lot of carbs and energy drinks, is you go, woo, crash, woo, crash, woo, crash. And you have a hard time focusing. So your diet might be having an impact on your learning. Actually, I have no doubt it is. So fill in here a couple of things that you've written, a couple of days if you can, of what you had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks, and see how you think that corresponds to the New Zealand Healthy Eating Guide. How are you doing? Hopefully you've got a decent breakfast. I mean, if it's Cocoa Puffs or something sugary, white toast, whatever, as long as you're eating, I think you're winning. But again, Weet-Bix are something that's complex carbohydrate. What did you have for lunch? What did you have for dinner? And what did you have for snacks? So try and fill in a couple of days if you can, the past few days or whatnot, or what you intend to eat, and just sit back and look at it and be like, am I doing myself any favors in there? I wonder. It's important. It's very, very, very important. Quite often when a student is having issues focusing, it's actually food related. And that's something that sort of needs to be addressed before they can focus. Right. Next task. Once you've done that, you're going to think of a one-day menu for a football player training for the World Cup. If you're an athlete, you need to eat different ratios or different proportions of foods. You're going to have a huge energy expenditure while you're I don't know, training or playing your game, in this case playing football. They're going to need a lot of energy. So they're going to need a lot of, what type of molecule gives you energy again? Protein? No, that was for building tissue. Lipids? Yeah, sort of. It is in that family, but it's not. It's carbohydrates. So someone who's a footballer is going to need a lot of the right type of carbohydrates. And obviously, they're exercising, growing, damaging tissue, repairing. They're going to need a lot of protein as well. And protein can come in different forms. I mean, some of you would know already that weightlifters and some athletes will eat protein powder, so just can't get it in their diet often enough, or it's not convenient. But that's a whole other avenue that you could look at. So a one-day menu for a football player. What would you suggest they eat for breakfast? Do they eat breakfast at all? Of course. What should they eat for lunch? And what should they eat for dinner? Thinking all the exercise is happening during the day, and at dinner, when they're going to sleep, afterwards, you're not going to want carbohydrates here. Not too many, are you? You're going to want some protein here so they repair overnight. In the morning, what should they eat? A lot of protein, a lot of carbs, a lot of fats. Should fats feature here? I mean, you need to have some fat in your diet. What type of fat? Unsaturated, saturated. Oh, what if I put an apple in here? Or put an apple here? That's good. You could pretty much chuck an apple anywhere. What if I woke up and had a hamburger for breakfast? how that's going to go down for an athlete. I mean, you know what it's like. Imagine you had like a big combo here from your favorite takeaways, fish and chips for breakfast. How's that going to go down when he plays a match later on in the day? Lots of fat. I mean, you know what it's like. You eat that type of heavy dinner and you go to sleep. The name for that, I think, is postprandial somnolence, which is where all the blood in your body, not all the blood, a lot of it goes to your stomach to help with digestion. And your body warms its temperature up to help with digestion as well. So you feel warm and snuggy. You've had a big meal. You feel good, feel satiated, which is like full, happy, and you go to sleep. No pro athlete's going to have fish and chips or takeaways before a game, right? That type of stuff actually shouldn't feature in here at all for an athlete. It's the hardest part of bodybuilding or professional sort of training is the diet. The diet and exercise. You need to be strict. So go ahead and fill that in, and then we'll move on to our next lesson where we'll look at labels for foods, nutritional labels, because you flip them over and it's like, oh, what's in this? What does that word mean? And I'm going to want you guys to go to your pantry, pull some stuff out, and have a look. Cool. Get it done.